Bobby out of jail. The only thing Charlie Manson's thinking in his mind is, wonder who's going to rat me out now because of Bobby being in jail.
Right.
It might be Mary. Mary's a bitch. She might be the first
She
one.
got immunity.
You know? So, yeah, let's tell a different story, George Stimson. Why do you save the chick that you're living with and make her come out like, oh, I didn't do anything? Bullshit. They conspired to commit murder, and they should all be in prison. And Leslie should be there rotting right now, too. Van Houten.
Well, she's not. She's out. Just like Grogan's out. Just like Lynette Frommy's out. It's like Manson family members get parole, so something they don't get parole.
We met at Spahn Ranch,
Yes.
down by the cave.
I commented on one of your videos and about the cave, and then you said, "Hey, do you want to meet me there?" And I said, "Sure." And then I brought my friend Dave Finkelberg with me. Rest in peace, Dave. And we came down and met you.
A Manson con. They got like
They did. It was called Family Jam Day.
That's ironically, I'm holding them tickets. You know what I want you to do? I want you to sign these while we're talking. Keep signing Stoner on every one of these things. And what do you want to talk about today? Today we're here in my garage, in the back porch, and we actually have a camera person, and we have a guest, Stoner Van Houten.
What's going on, everybody? All right, fresh off vacation.
We got a lot of noise out here too. Fresh off vacation. Where'd you go to vacation?
Eastern Sierra. In the mountains. Very, just getting away from everything here. A lot of hiking. You guys can see all the videos on my channel, which I'll come out with. As a matter of fact, if you just go see the shorts and stuff, you guys will see where I am. Was at Hot Springs.
Where are they going to see the shorts
Tahoe,
at?
all over, people.
Where are they going to see the shorts at?
On my YouTube channel.
What's your Instagram page?
My Instagram page is Stoner Van Houten.
That's just Stoner Van
Just
Houten.
Stoner, lowercase, Van, lowercase, Houten.
And what's your YouTube page?
Is the Spahn Ranch channel 2011.
And how long have you been friends with me?
With you now, wow, man, about 13 years.
How in the world did Family Jam start? Family Jams is a Manson type thing. People call it, a lot of people like to call it a pro type thing. People like to pick on you because they're jealous, actually. But how did that started with a guy in Indiana by the name of Matt, who actually is a singer who was coming here to sing.
Yes.
And you said, why don't we just go sing at Spahn Ranch?
No, the way right. What it was is Matthew Aaron is a member of a band called Indiana. It's great. Check him out. He was coming to California with his band to play at a place called the Mint, and he told me, "Hey man, do you want to come down there? You can bring some friends." I said, "Sure, man, I'll come check you out." He says, "The day we don't leave, that was on a Saturday, but we don't leave to go back to Indiana on Monday. But that Sunday, we would like to go to Spahn Ranch and play a gig down there. Can you bring some friends?" And I said, at first I'm like, well, I haven't played any of your music to my fans, so they don't really know any of your music. Nobody really knows you. So it's going to be kind of hard for me to get people there unless I make it some kind of event. So I got this idea in my head. I'm like, why don't I make it like an event, and I'll put it on my Facebook page and my other Instagram and stuff like that, and then people will be like, oh, it's an event, and they'll come down. And he's like, sure. So we made an event. I said, I'll just call it Family Jams Day, and we'll see what happens. It's kind of like concerts in the park. You bring your own chair, and your cooler and everything. And sure enough, man, Indiana went down to the Life magazine cave right there at Spahn Ranch, and they set up right in the cave. There's video of this at my YouTube channel.
There was a guy who brought a big old fucking bass too.
Huge stand-up bass. Right, they had a stand-up bass. Matthew Aaron had his regular acoustic guitar, and then you had the drummer.
Does that sound louder?
That sounds creepy.
Weird alien character.
Right, they had a stand-up bass. Matthew Aaron had his regular acoustic guitar, and then you had the drummer who just brought the snare and the hi-hat, and that was it. We had special guests there. Merle Allen of the Murder Junkies was there, who's a very good friend of Matthew Aaron, and that's why he was there. People always ask me, like, how did you get him to come there? Honestly, it was Matthew's friend, and they hadn't seen each other in a long time, and so Merle came down, which is great. And Merle comes actually every time when he's not on tour with his band. Yes, he comes every year, which is great. He's on tour right now. So that's how it started, and we did it, and I didn't think anything of it until a couple months down the road. Someone's like, hey, that little event you did, are you going to do that again? I'm like, and we didn't think like to do it again. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess we could. So we had Matthew Aaron. He came out the next year just by himself, though, not with the band. He came out again, and we said, let's do Family Jams Day 2. Same exact setup at Spahn Ranch. It's, concerts in the park type thing. Bring, your own stuff. And from there, we just, hey, Family Jams Day 3 and 4 and 5, all the way up to 8. And after 8, we stopped. And I know a lot of people, like right now, we would be having it, but we stopped.
Stop trying. Or you gonna play cry. Stop trying. Or you gonna play cry. That's okay. Sad, sad day. Bad day.
It got too expensive. Honestly, people, it got too expensive. It really did. I know some people were saying, hey, you got burned out, you got bored. No, it was a great event. A lot of people loved it. Look, people, we've had everybody.
Hey, speaking of
we've
that,
had some celebrities.
Did that girl from that new movie or that documentary, Sophia Maddox, she came to one of those Family Jam things, right?
Yeah, she came there. That's right.
Tell us about what it was like when she came there. What happened?
Well, I'm friends with Michael Brunner. And that's so I was friends with him, and I knew he was going to be in Los Angeles at that time. So I'm like, hey, man, I'm doing this event, Family Jam. Is there any way you can come by? And he's like, yeah, we're working on a project. He's like, we'll see what we can do. And I said, sure, that's great. So I wasn't really expecting him to come by, but he knew, because I know Mike, he knew what we were doing. So sure enough, around the event starts at 11 o'clock in the morning and goes till 7 o'clock at night. Around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, around that time, sure enough, here comes a car, pulls up. It's Michael Brunner. It's Daniel Arguelles, and it's Sophia Maddox now. They pull on up, and sure enough, man, now, people don't know who Daniel really was at the time. Everybody recognized Brunner. They saw him and kind of went to him, hey, wait, what's going on? So, and then, then he started introducing everybody, and then we knew, like, hey, man, we actually have, like, supposedly the Manson family. So that's what made that event so interesting, that you had these 3 individuals who, claim they're part of the Manson family, as a lot of people seem to be lately saying. And they came to the event and they had a great time. We have pictures, we have video. Daniel Arguelles was singing songs. He's singing blues songs with Jimmy Hook on guitar, man. I mean, that's incredible. And then you had Michael Brunner were there, you had Sophia, there's pictures. They had a great time, man. Everybody's just, having a good time.
Did they tell you then they were doing a documentary?
No, they did not know.
How come Michael Brunner's not in it?
In the documentary, from what I've heard, the reason he's not in the documentary is because he was advised through, I don't know if it was the publisher or lawyer, because he's doing another project. Apparently he's doing a project and working on something, and they don't want it to kind of counterclash with another.
Apparently that's a bunch of bullshit all the time. Apparently, I don't believe it.
Well,
apparently, I think she cut him out, to tell you the truth. I think she said, oh, we're men, and forget about that guy. We don't need him anymore. I think that's what happened. Seriously.
I mean, that was the first thing I actually thought too, was why isn't he in this? That's kind of like, hey, why isn't Brunner in this?
I think it was more about her,
but,
and it was less about Manson anyway. The only part Manson was there was, hey, I'm related to this weirdo guy, and everybody else in my family's weirdos too. So it was probably best that Michael stayed out of it, but I don't think he was advised to stay out of it. He should have been advised to stay out of the one where they talked to Harvey Levin all those years ago when he talked shit about his dad, and his dad got word of that. He should have been advised to stay out of that.
Who's going to tell him at the time he's 19 years old? I mean, come on, how's he going to know not to do that?
I was probably 20-something years old when I decided to write to this weirdo guy, Charles Manson. So come on, man, you can make up your own mind. But now, it seems like now they have made up their mind 50 years later that like, oh, he's not such a bad guy now that he's gone and dead.
Well, that's usually the way it is with a lot of people, though. Once someone's gone, then, all of a sudden he wasn't such a bad person, this and that. But when they were alive, of course, it's not just with Manson, but it seems like with other people in general as well. But as far as the documentary, look, yeah, Brunner wasn't in it. Sophia Maddox does this.
You said on your
documentary. I didn't think it was too bad at all. I honestly didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, you made a video. You made it sound like it was the greatest. There's a car coming in the back porch right now. You made it sound like it was the greatest fucking documentary since documentaries were. I don't think so, man.
No, it wasn't that good. I mean, it wasn't. that good. But I don't. The problem I think that people have, that I see people saying, is that it didn't bring anything new to the case. It's not supposed to. It wasn't about the case. Anytime you put Manson's face on something, they think, oh, you're going to just talk about the case. You're just going to talk. No, this is about a girl who found out that her grandpa supposedly is Manson and how she's dealing with it. It has nothing to do with the case. It's not going to tell you why Sharon Tate was killed or anything like that at all. It's just simply a girl finding out something and her dealing with it. Okay, some people said she cried too much. Look, people cry. They get emotional about stuff. I get it. You know, but in general,
Her crying didn't look real. It didn't look real, man.
Who knows? I don't. I'm just saying, I didn't have a problem with, except for the part with her dad, and you're right, and we've talked about this before. Yeah, dude, I mean, yeah, she threw her dad under the bus. No ifs, ands, or buts. No ifs, ands, or buts, and we're not going to disagree on this, because I think we both can agree that, yes, she threw his ass under the bus, man. And I think he, at first, thought the project was going to be more about her and less about him, and then somehow the tables kind of got switched, and it became a lot about him, and, you know, and then she's like, wait a minute, you know, and less about, you know, her, so it's like, because you can tell by the anger in it. Because he was being very cool in the very, very beginning. Like the very first 10 minutes of it, he was so cool. Then the rest of it, the next hour and a half, he's pissed. He's pissed off the entire time, dude. So something.
You know, Ben?
Yeah, something obviously happened. So he felt he was lied to, which he probably was. You know, and then that's probably one of the reasons why he got so mad. But I thought it was good overall, and you know, so
if
we'll see what happens with it.
If I'm to be honest, I have to. I felt sorry for Shrek when the guy got.
Oh yeah, and just walked out.
And another thing that I felt sorry for him for was that he didn't give him guidelines to stay away from this side of my head and don't point the camera right in the hole. They were trying too much to show his ear.
Right. Well.
Or lack of, and I thought that was poor taste. Even though you can talk about it all day long, it was still in the film. It was kind of like, ugh, you got to show that angle. You know, why couldn't you hit him from the other angle? And then you get up and walk off. It was almost like it was a hit thing almost against him. And I felt kind of like, you know, you got what you deserve. And then I kind of felt like, you know, that sucks to be in that kind of position.
Shrek actually kind of looked like he'd been there before. Like, I don't worry, I'm not upset. I've had people call me a quack before, but you know, so you know. But you're right. For his and he probably didn't do that for free. And as much as they paid him, he was only in it for like 30 seconds. So. But whatever, it's all good.
Actually, sometimes they don't pay you a whole hell of a lot, and and then they try to take off and not pay. You already know all that story, don't you?
Yeah.
These people ain't paying a lot to have this thing done. Disney's paying some money, and then it's divided up between the cameraman and the sound man. And why did they have Shram in there? They ought to have had Michael Brunner in there. So what the fuck did Shram have to do with this thing? Nothing except he was with screwed Manson. What about Michael Brunner? He's the one that had the DNA tested. He's the one that's part of the story. Why wasn't he in there? He was advised to get my ass. He should have been advised against putting his DNA in the system. He should have been advised of a lot of other fucking things that he didn't seem to be advised of. I think they just did him out of that thing, man. And again, serves him right. As far as I'm concerned, I really could care less. Okay, you were talking about some other like movies that Netflix has.
Yeah, oh god, the one Conversations with a Killer on Netflix coming up. Now, I have not seen it. I believe it's out now. You guys can go watch it on Netflix. But the thing about it is that, look, only so many people have conversations with Manson. I don't believe there's a lot of people out there. And I can tell you off the top of my head, you know, of course, Michael Channel's number one. I know Black Wolf said he had 800 conversations, which he just gave to Sophia. We know John Michael Jones.
Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. 800 conversations. Let's think about that. 15 minutes of 800. You know how many motherfucking days on the telephone you'd be to get 800 hours at 15 minutes a time?
That's a lot, man. You know,
so 800's a lot, man. You must have been on the phone with that guy every freaking day of your life. Every day. He called you back, called you 800.
Yeah, John Michael Jones claims he has that too. I think he said more. I think John Michael says he's got like 1,500 hours on.
Yeah, they all exaggerate that a lot.
Or something like that, he said, you know. So the only people that I know that would even possibly have those conversations would be, just like I said, John Michael Jones, Black Wolf, Michael Channels. I know Shrek's done some things. I know there's some other people out there that've got conversations, but come on, man.
You're forgetting about one person, though. There's one person that has a whole lot of conversations, just as many as John Michael Jones or Black Wolf. I just don't believe that John Michael has 1,500 hours. I just don't believe it. If he did, he sure didn't come up with any crap in the movie to put in there. 1,500 hours to pick from, and you pick that crap? And 800 hours? And you don't show any of the 800 hours? You rehash old clippings of Manson family coming, pushing bodies out of... It's a bunch of crap. 800 hours, my ass. Like, you didn't go through that 800 hours and look at him and to find things that Manson said about his own family and not put them in... I don't believe it. I just don't believe any of it. All these people lie to you all the time. They constantly, like Black Wolf, he told me down there at that one thing, he said, I don't like being in them things, and I ain't never going to be in another documentary. And then here he is in another documentary. It's like, I'll just cover up and pretend like I didn't want to be here. It's all a bunch of shit. All these people lie. None of them are really honest. None of them. Michael Brunner isn't being honest from the very start. Why did he put his DNA in the system in the first place? Because he didn't think he was Michael Brunner. He didn't even know he was Manson's kid. But then he keeps leading on like he is. These people are all lying to you. They are. They're not telling the same story when you get them in a corner. Right. And when you get them in court, that's in a corner. Right. You can't just say, no. You can't peter out like, Nicholas Schreck said he tested with the Maddox family and everybody believes it. Bullshit. None of this shit happened. Right now what's happening is they're at each other's throats.
Right.
And now Michael Brunner ain't in the documentary where he put his DNA out there. It gets discovered by some little girl who now is going to get money out of it, and Michael ain't part of it. They mentioned his name one measly, tiny little time. Why?
Did they even say his name, or did he say?
They said his name. I think they said it tiny once.
Oh, they said it once? Okay.
I mean, like, once.
I thought he said, like, I just have a half brother or something.
But when you were hanging out with him, it was like, Uncle Mike.
Yeah,
she sing songs of Charlie Manson.
She was saying Uncle Mike, yeah.
And then you want to come on and say, they're telling the truth? You know goddamn well they're not. Behind the scenes, they play games like they're one thing, and then in public, they act like there's something else. You know that from Lynette Fromm. You know the behind the scenes of all kinds of shit that you don't talk about, that you know damn well straight. These people are lying to you. They've been lying to you about Atwa. They've been lying to you about everything, man. They've been lying to you about why that lady got killed. They've been lying to you who sent that lady to kill him. Just do what Tex says. Where the fuck did Tex get that from? Where was the conversation? They never ever mentioned the conversation where Manson and Tex were sitting at the table and they came to this, and now Tex is going to do this. So Manson's standing there and he says, do what Tex says because we already had. Never happened. It's all bullshit. The whole thing's bullshit. The whole entire thing's bullshit. And then the victim's son, he comes on and acts like the girl, the grandson, the granddaughter's the worst thing in the world because now she's making money off of Manson. Like he wasn't making money off of Manson when he sold me the damn book? Or when he had me go to the damn movie? Or when he had us sitting up on the stage and let's have a conversation for money? Well, these people are all full of shit. That's why I don't care what any of them say or what any of them do. I don't care. And the movie, the Netflix, that has one of the producers is Charlie Cook. Charlie Cook. Again. History Channel.
Yeah. You knew Charlie Cook, yeah.
Charlie Cook and
Marlon
Marinick had a whole bunch of tapes in that history thing. And that's where this is coming from.
Okay. Well, Charlie Cook's the guy that went over to...
he went to El Coyote.
No, not El Coyote, to the Grogan's work at the vegan restaurant when he's playing with the band.
Yeah, he went there too.
Right. That's
but he went to El Coyote and he filmed us down there. I thought you were down there.
Oh, I know you're saying. I know that.
But
so you're saying that's where those conversations are coming from Marlon Marinick and then Charlie Cook, and this is what's going to make up the new Netflix Conversations with the Killer.
And I think what it is I don't even think it's a documentary. I think it's actors playing the parts, dancing around to maybe Manson's tapes, or maybe dancing around to what Manson said.
No, I think what it is more. I think what they do is they listen to the tape, and whatever thing he says that's the most creepy is they just cut that out, and then they just cut this part out. I will kill this, and then this, and it just makes it sound like he's totally fucking insane. When really, if you listen to what he's saying, actually, You know, it's fine. But you're only taking the scariest part of what he says. And every now and then he says something, and I've heard your tapes, where he does say something rather scary. But, you know, so that's the problem that I see with this, is that it's just, to me, it seems like I haven't even seen it, and I already think, to me, it's just going to be bullshit already. Same old helter-skelter crap. Of them just taking out what they want to make it sound scary. Look, people, the 60th anniversary is coming up. There's going to be a lot of this. A lot of this coming up. I'm telling you, this is just the beginning. I think it starts with the Sophia thing, then the conversation thing. Now they're rehashing up the Tom O'Neill thing again. Here we go with him again. You know, and so
Tom O'Neill, I think they rehashed that because he was just in front of the.
Yeah, he was just in front of the Senate or something, or the Supreme Court, or
some kind of hearing that they had there in Washington, and he was talking about Manson several times in it. He was saying some bizarre stuff
about MK Ultra and shit.
I mean, he's interesting, but what he leaves out of I think he actually listened to a lot of Mae Brussels at one point, because Mae Brussels used to say the same thing. But where Tom O'Neill kind of switches is Mae Brussels used to say that she had a house, I think it was in Northern California, and there was a house across the street where she's seen a bunch of things go on, and she involved all these people that she's seen in that house in her conspiracy theories. And a lot of people that she's seen going in and out of that house were Tex Watson. So she was really hard on Tex Watson being part of the government. And Tom O'Neill kind of switched it all around to make it Charles Manson's part of that gut. But Mae Brussels was actually talking about how she's seen that Tex Watson was a big part of the, the people that were going into this. That they were talking about the Kennedys and all kinds of things that was going on in this house. And then the house across the street from her blew up. So it had a lot to do with Tex Watson and not Manson. And now, it's almost like O'Neill, he listened to a lot of her, and then he switched Manson's name for it.
Well, they're both named Charles.
Charles Manson would be more interesting to hear about something like that. But I don't believe anything that Tom really said. He really says, it's not that I don't believe anything he says, because, he's an author. He can say whatever he likes to say. He doesn't prove a lot of things that he says, though. A lot of things are like speculation. They're like hearsay in court. Mm-hmm. If you take his book to court, you can take it in front of the committee up there in Washington, and they'll be like, ooh, ooh, Take it to court, though,
right,
and he won't be able to prove nothing in that thing. Right. And that's just how I feel about it. He can't prove that Manson was involved. I wish he could, but he can't. He can't. And Manson, he just doesn't seem like the type that would be enough organized to be in that kind of shit anyway. How in the hell would Manson be in the damn CIA? Or be organized enough to,
right, to
if
be smart
you do
enough
organize
to
the people, okay, why are we actually killing these people then? There's got to be a purpose behind why we want these people. Okay, say Sharon Tate, we trained her all this time in the movie industry to, we trained her to be an actress, we sent her to actress school, we put her in these films, we're pumping her out big. And now she doesn't want to be an actress anymore. Now she wants to have a baby. And now she wants to just have a family. And wait a minute, we invested all this money in her. Okay, if they got an excuse like that, I'll believe it. They don't even have an excuse, on why they went to kill this lady. So, and his book don't either. And nobody's book does. And George's book comes really close, but he peters around the fact that Sandra Good could have been hey, let's go get this lady. Over there, we know Sandra Good should be in fucking prison. She should have been in prison with Manson, the whole goddamn 9 yards of it. So should Capistrano. All them girls should have been in prison with Manson. If you want to conspire, they were all conspiring. Every freaking one of them that was there talking about, what do we do to get Bobby out of jail? Because Charlie Manson is the last goddamn person that cares about getting Bobby out of jail. The only thing Charlie Manson's thinking in his mind is, wonder who's going to rat me out now because of Bobby being in jail.
Right.
It might be Mary. Mary's a bitch. She might be the first one.
She got immunity.
So, yeah, let's tell a different story, George Stimpson. Why do you save the chick that you're living with and make her come out like, I didn't do anything. Bullshit. They conspired to commit murder, and they should all be in prison. And Leslie, hey, did you get Sophia's autograph?
No, I didn't get her. I took pictures, but no.
Did Chris get 2 of them?
Chris probably did. He probably got them.
Hey, Chris.
I think Creepy Chris probably did, yeah.
Chris, give me one of those autographs, man.
I think he got a couple of them.
What about
I think
Daniel? Did you get his?
No. I was the only person that was told not to do any of that stuff, but everybody else went up to them and said, sign this, sign that, sign this. And I'm like, I thought we weren't supposed to do that, but whatever. So I was actually being the only one I don't even really remember taking the pictures with her, honestly, because I was drinking a lot. But apparently I didn't. Thank God I did, because I don't remember taking a picture. But I didn't ask to have her sign anything. No, I didn't. Yeah, same thing with Daniel.
How long was Daniel there?
They were there for about like an hour, about an hour and a half. Man, they were, a couple hours. I mean, it was cool, man. They were there for enough time to play songs and have a couple beers and socialize with people. And so I'd say at least a couple hours, man.
Okay, tell me the truth. Did Michael ask if I was there before he showed up?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think he probably was going to ask if you were going to be there. I think I'd even talked to you about that. I mean, I think I told you. I think I may have even told you that there's a possibility that Mike was going to be there, and that's why you didn't show up. So. I didn't know, whatever.
And I want to make it straight. It wasn't like, oh, Michael Brunner's going to be there, I'm not coming. I goddamn know well. I know that if he knows that I'm going to be there, he would have never showed up. He just wouldn't have came. So I was like, okay, whatever. I just ain't going. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me that much to be there or not to be there. And so that's the reason. It wasn't because I don't like the guy.
Right.
I know he's in a rock and a hard place now where he was almost like in a position where he can't like me anymore. And that's fine with me.
Right,
I don't care.
Sucks. I know.
But that's a weird spot to be in, man.
Right.
When you cannot like a person just because what other people are telling you and all this shit,
Right.
That's a weird spot to be. Where I don't feel like that, because if he was here right now, I'd be like, hey, how you doing, man?
You said you wouldn't have a problem with it at all, so you're like, whatever.
The
so
only
you're cool
you know me well enough, too, that some of the shit that I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now, but if you've done something to me, I'll point it right fucking out to you when you're standing here too.
Believe me, people, I know. Trust me, Mike's very direct, and he speaks his mind.
And if I did anything to you, you can point it out to me. I'm just as well. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But I think that's his problem. He knows some of the shit that only me and him know together, and he can't really look himself in the eye, because like Manson said, if you look down on me, you're looking at the devil.
Right.
You look up, you're looking at God. You look at me straight in the eyes, you're looking at yourself. So when you're looking at me straight in the eyes here, and we know secrets about, you're looking at yourself, man. And that can be a bad place to be. And I don't really know anybody on earth that I kind of stand that ground with, where I'm like, I really don't want to look that person in the eye, because they know the secrets about me that I don't want anybody to know.
Right.
Is there anybody like that? I bet you probably have a few people.
I probably do. No, believe me, there's a lot of you that know stuff about me.
Like my mom, it wouldn't even be that with my mom. My mom don't know, because you know why? Here's a secret. Don't share your dark secrets with anybody. Keep them to yourself. And then you don't have to worry about that shit, of like, oh, did I do this or did I do that? No, just try to keep it straight with everybody. And that's pretty much what I try to do with everybody. And then you come out, in the end, you sort of come out looking like the bad guy, because people are like, oh, this guy's an asshole because he did this.
Right.
Or this guy's an asshole because I only know half the story. And who cares? And that's why stay off of social media, period, man. It's just a matter of posting something on YouTube and then commenting to the people that actually care about it. Because there are people that care. And to the other people,
right,
have at it. Do whatever you want. Now that it's out there on YouTube, it belongs to you, so you can talk crap about it if you want. Like let Davis talk crap about all he wants.
Yeah.
He can do that all he wants, but you've seen what it's done to him over time. One point he came on and he acted like a civilized citizen, like, oh yeah, I'm cool, I'm a good guy. And then he starts talking crap and he just goes like this. And before you know it, nobody's listening to it anymore, because they've got enough crap in their own life already to go online and listen to more people's other crap. So, anyway,
and with that said, people,
it was cool hanging out.
Fucking hey, man, I love hanging out with you, brother. This is great, man. Fucking always a great time here on the Backporch tapes. There's Stoner Van Houten, Michael Channels, man. Check out Michael Channels, man. This guy is.
And we're just talking today. It was just like,
bro.
You don't take anything from this. It was just all. It'd be like what you came into the room when we're in the room, So until next time, thanks, Stoner.
Hey,
Thanks, camera person. Camera person's naked right now. Can you believe it? Peace.